And I would like to welcome all the people in the Zoom, the people of Zoom, and the people here in the room. I am almost moved. Today I am meeting for the first time many people that I have been interacting a lot on the internet. It's amazing that we are all here today, and it's a pity that some of you didn't join us physically, but it will be good anyway. And I want to thank many people, but my role now is only to go through the program and give a bit of practical information before I give the word to our amazing program chairs, Karima and Chris. And the most important thing that I want to tell you, that the program is on the website. You can go there yourself. What we don't have on the website, that we will have a reception here at the end of the day. There will be food and drinks for those who are present. And otherwise, everything is written on the website. Some problems, for sure, we will have some technical problems and challenges, but we will solve. So it's my pleasure now to give the word to Karima and Chris, who has been the organizer of this workshop, and they will do an introduction for us. And here I have Bara, who is the co-chair of the action, and for anything, contact me, contact Bara, and not least we have our Vineke, who is doing everything, so he has control. I have not, but together we will manage. So thank you very much, and please, Chris and Karima, the word is yours.
Starting and say hello to everybody. So, hola a todos, hello everyone. Chris and I are glad to welcome you to this first edition of the WIRE EUGAIN workshop, where actually we kept the original name WIRE and we added the name EUGAIN of our cost action that is now managing this workshop. WIRE EUGAIN is a continuation of the WIRE workshop created and initiated by Informatics Europe, and Linda will run through its history this afternoon, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. We would like to thank you all for attending either in person or remotely to this workshop. And we are very happy to know and see that most of you could travel to Madrid. Unfortunately, Chris and I could not make it, and we are very, very sorry for that and not being able to meet you in person. We hope that we will be able to meet you in the next WIRE EUGAIN workshop or any other event related to EUGAIN. For this first edition of EUGAIN and WIRE EUGAIN workshop, we have decided to focus on sustainability, specifically how to retain women and girls in computer science in all career stages. This year, particularly, we will emphasize on the stage from school to university, and the next year we will focus on the stage from bachelor and master's to PhD, and the third year on stage from PhD to professor. We have done our best to involve all the actors concerned by sustainability in gender balance, and to see how we can progress in a more scientific approach and extend the discussion about diversity. We hope that you will enjoy the program that we have prepared for you. And before giving you an overview about this program, we'd like to thank first all the session chairs for inviting the fabulous speakers who will share with us all their ideas and experiences. All of the speakers for accepting the invitation and being here today. Of course, Nuria, Viniki, and Kitwan from Informatics Europe for all the logistics and their help. Leticia, Bara, and again, Viniki for looking after the workshop in Madrid and welcome you in person. Of course, all our hosts in Madrid and all who have contributed to make this workshop happen and successful. And I would like also to thank more particularly Chris, who is a wonderful collaborator. I really enjoyed working with him. Y muchas gracias a todos. Now I give you the floor, Chris.
Thank you so much, Karima. It has been an absolute privilege to work alongside you to put this workshop together. Hello, everyone. We cannot wait to start this exciting workshop, so I'll be brief. Today's program generally follows the structure of the EUGAIN cost action, with a session for each of the working groups from school to university, from bachelor and master's to PhD, and from PhD to professor. In addition, we have two special sessions. In the first session, once I stop talking, we will hear the point of view of EU policymakers. And in the last session after lunch, panelists will discuss the challenges and opportunities of diversity and sustainability in computer science. There will also be breakout rooms to brainstorm and share ideas during the afternoon session. Finally, the workshop will end with closing remarks from EUGAIN's STSM coordinator, the Science Communication Manager, and EUGAIN's Vice Chair. Gender balance, diversity, and sustainable actions to support and maintain them are a long-term and ongoing issue in informatics. Speakers and participants from around the world and from outside EUGAIN have joined us today, and we must learn much from their collective experiences and wisdom. We encourage an active participation from those of us who are participating virtually, as well as those who are physically present. Facilitators will relay questions and comments from virtual participants posed in chat during the sessions. Rapporteurs will report on sessions and the discussions they invoke to help guide future strategy. We thank also all of the facilitators and rapporteurs for being so generous with their time. So thanks everybody, and also our kind hosts here in Madrid. And we wish all of us a successful and productive workshop. I'll now hand you back to Karima, who will get this workshop underway. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. So Letizia, I give you the floor now and give the floor to Mina, who will start this workshop by giving you an overview about the point of view of the European Commission regarding its support for a sustainable gender equality in research and innovation in informatics. So Letizia and Mina, please take the floor.
Hi, Mina. Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we are looking forward to hear your speech to us. What are the trends in Europe? What are the policymakers asking to us, and what is your advice to us? So the floor is yours, Mina.
Hello, good morning. What I'm going to do is that I will have some few minutes actually introducing you to our activities. And of course, I think that what is very, very important is, first of all, to congratulate you, to actually congratulate the organizer of this event, the cost action, so many of you being there, being present, and of course, being committed to gender equality, gender balance in research, innovation, in ICT in particular. I'm sure I see that we are all convinced that women's leadership and participation in all sectors of society is, of course, vital to build a more sustainable, more resilient, more inclusive Europe, and to build a union of equality. And for this, we have a momentum. And the momentum is, of course, you. The momentum is across Europe. The momentum is also on the political agenda of the European Commission, where actually gender equality has never been as high as it is these days. Right? Then, perfect. So I was introducing the commitment of the current Commission to the Union of Equality, where we do have a very clear statement, new strategy for gender equality, which really places the emphasis also on the gender stereotypes, which are the root cause of gender inequalities in all areas of society. And we do see that despite this momentum, despite this commitment, despite the ongoing work of many projects, consortium networks, etc., there are lots of structural barriers and stereotypes that persist and that actually affect and prevent women from their full participation in science, innovation, ICT, and many other areas, which are actually vital for shaping the green and digital transitions and to ensure sustainability. So this is why we are here today. Going into actually the more important area of research, innovation, and ICT in particular, I think that it is very important to highlight that we have been working with you since 2012 and even before, and gender equality is on the agenda of the European Research Area since 2012, explicitly addressing three key objectives. One is gender equality in all careers at all levels. Another is gender balance in decision-making and leadership positions. And the third one is what we call the integration of gender dimension in research and innovation content, where, for instance, of course, we know that considering gender aspects in fields like artificial intelligence or robotics can help eliminating biases and making innovation more beneficial for everyone in the society. And we know that this is why we are also here. Without gender equality and diverse teams, we risk creating digital products and services that do not fit all of us and that actually perpetuate inequalities. So building on these three objectives that I mentioned is today our key instruments to promote sustainable change, to promote and achieve long-term sustainable advancement in gender equality, and in particular in those areas where women are still severely underrepresented, such as in the field of ICT. So we have been funding many organizations, more than 200, some of them ICT and STEM intensive research and innovation organizations, and we have created a huge community of practitioners. And still, when we actually look into the state of play, when we look into our upcoming She Figures edition to be published next month, we do see that actually, and She Figures, of course, apologies for those who do not know, is our key flagship for measuring gender equality in research and innovation and for monitoring the state of play research and innovation in Europe and actually beyond. And we do see that there are still persisting structural barriers, and that actually facts are showing that indeed there are many, many barriers and issues, gender gaps issues to be addressed in all areas. So we have reached, looking at the numbers, we have reached gender equality among PhD graduates in all disciplines combined. But when we look into specifically the field of ICT doctoral graduates, then we are at less than 30%, which is largely not enough. We do know that only 2 out of the 10 ICT specialists reach the labor market. We know also that among heads of higher education institutions, the gap is huge. So women hold less than 24% of these positions, so heads of higher education institutions, and only 26% hold grade A, which is full professorship position. Even more striking in the area of ICT, only 8% of the full professors are women in Europe. So to actually come with even more striking number, women are significantly underrepresented among the patent holders and inventors. Only 10% of the patent applications these days come from women. And last but not least, the current pandemic had also had very disproportionate impact on women researchers, research productivity and output. And we are currently looking more in depth into actually the more long-term consequences that the pandemic has on women researchers. So clearly, this situation renders even more pressing the need to reaffirm gender equality and diversity as shared values and principles for all of us within the framework of the new European Research Area, which is built on a communication adopted already 1 year ago, but discussed with member states. And the ERA policy agenda is actually currently defined while we speak with member states at the ERA ministerial conference in Ljubljana yesterday and today. So within the European Research Area, we work with member states, with organizations, universities, research and innovation organizations, research funders to develop and implement gender equality plans, sustainable gender equality plans, open up our policies to inclusiveness, intersections with social categories such as ethnicity, apologies for this, ethnicities, sexual orientation, disabilities, etc. And what is very important is that this approach for sustainable institutional change, which builds on a set of actions and which is implemented through gender equality plans, is also very much the key instrument considered at national level by member states as the most impactful instrument to promote a cultural change. And we know that cultural change, this takes time. So building on this political commitment, current momentum, ongoing work, projects and new stakeholders being fully involved, we have decided with Horizon Europe to go beyond, to further strengthen our commitment to gender equality, not only on paper, but also with facts and efficiently. So we have worked towards three new important developments, and I will just pass very briefly through one of those. The three elements that are important to consider in terms of application to our framework program is that in order for a public entity to be eligible for funding, the public entity must have a gender equality strategy. So we do consider that this is a minimum criteria, eligibility criteria for all research and innovation organizations in order to receive European funding. Second novelty is that the integration of gender dimension, meaning the consideration of the impact of your research on women and men, on girls and boys, or male and females, becomes now a mandatory requirement for all research in Horizon Europe, except in very few cases where this might not be applicable. And then also the gender balance in research teams becomes a ranking criteria. Now, very briefly, because I'm pretty sure that you're familiar with this probably, or if not, you must be familiar if you're interested in applying in European funding, the gender equality plans. So as I said, public bodies, research organizations, or higher education institutions which are established in a member state or associated country must have a gender equality plan. And such a gender equality plan should build on 4 mandatory process-related requirements. And these are all extremely important in order to ensure a process in setting in place, sustaining, monitoring, and developing a gender equality plan. And these are, so first requirement, a gender equality plan must be a public document which is endorsed by the top management and which is published on the institution's website. There must be dedicated resources, of course, reserved to the time, to the work, etc., of the institutions on gender equality. The plan should be built on the data collection on the basis of sex and gender disaggregated data for all staff within the organization, and this should build also, this should fit annual reports for the, on the state of sex and gender data within the organization. And of course, the fourth mandatory requirement is what we also, of course, do very well under your project is the training and the capacity building. So making sure that the organization, the staff within the organization is aware of the gender inequalities and is engaged in tackling gender biases and through specific workshops, for instance, network creating, discussion of this type, etc. We also do recommend 5 additional areas which are thematic to be covered within each gender equality plan. But of course, one should know that the gender equality plan, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. There should all be tailor-made to the type of the institution, the gender inequalities within the institution, and of course, the commitment to tackle those. So these are the 5 areas that we do consider as a minimum to be addressed. Work-life balance, of course, in organizational culture, gender balance in leadership position, gender equality in recruitment and career progression, integration of gender dimensions. So you see that these are all linked around our 3 key policy objectives, and something that came more recently on the agenda in terms of explicit discussion is the need to address gender-based violence, including sexual harassment, which unfortunately occur also in the academic circles. We do provide very clear guidance because we want you and every institution to be on board and to be eligible for Horizon Europe. So we have worked under what we recently established as a European Knowledge and Support Facility, helping us develop some very good best practices, concrete examples actually on around all of the different building blocks of the gender equality plans. So really very useful tips depending on the type of organization, such as, and also the thematic orientation of the organization. We have recently published a guidance, and you have the link to this guidance, so providing, again, very good best practices examples. And we are also organizing trainings in different countries, and also together with the European University Alliances to ensure capacity building on gender equality plans. All this information is available on our website, and you have it also on my slides. I have put together 2 or 3 examples on what we actually consider good practices and which are actually listed within our detailed guidance on gender equality plans, with relevance also probably to the discussions of today. For instance, the Perspective of Women in Tech Summit organized in Poland, which is supported by the government and which promotes women role models, celebrates women in computing, tech and science. Similar award also in Czech Republic, and also the STEMET organization in Ireland and UK, which provides mentoring, qualification academies, etc. So these are examples that can give you a hint also of something that might look like very, I would say, ordinary and normal to do, but which is very difficult to ensure as a sustainable activity, so that it doesn't stop at only one action and one concrete seminar or one concrete activity. So to give you also just a visual example of the good practices that we have in our guide, we have good practices around the examples of dedicated resources, so creation of toolkit for gender budgeting, or different committees and community of practices that are created within universities. I will not go through, this is just for you to have an appetite to this guide, detailed guide that we have, and to actually the wide variety of actions and tips that might be promoted to ensure actually a sustainable action in, as I said, in developing, but most importantly in sustaining a gender equality strategy at organizational level, which is a key instrument and which we have, of course, measured as having a very positive impact, not only at the transformation at the organizational level, but also within the research and innovation ecosystem at national and regional level. So again, this is the last slide that I will present. Another example of training and capacity building actions within different sets of universities, establishment of communities of practice, different modules on unconscious bias. Actually, the module developed under our project, the H2020 SAGE project within the Trinity College Dublin, is an extremely interesting one on unconscious bias, and I really encourage you to have a look. And I think that I would stop here, because what is very important is to have an interaction with you. I think that you have an extremely inspirational agenda for today. I'm personally interested in attending those sessions, and I can, once again, I can only congratulate you first for organizing this, of course, organizers, and also for being here and sharing your experience and practice. So can we agree that I stop here, and then I'm open to your questions?
So, Mina, thank you very much. And my first question is, I would like you to introduce yourself and your role, because I was not, I was so nervous about the virtual and everything that I forget to present you properly. So. And also I'm used to professors, you know, that we, even if we are presented, when the professor comes on stage, they use a lot of time to present themselves. So if you could just say 2 words about your role, I would be very grateful. And then I will give the word to the audience to ask questions to you.
Of course, thank you very much for this. And again, I'm representing the institution, so this is what I'm doing. I'm presenting what we do. I'm heading the gender sector within the Director General for Research and Innovation in the European Commission. So it's a very small sector, but very committed one, acting as a cross-cutting sector across the full DG. And before that, I have been involved in shaping the European research area policy. So this is why also we have a very, I would say, ambitious agenda on gender equality within the European research area framework.
Thank you very much, Mina. So we give the word to the audience, and if there, while we wait to monitor the chat, I would like to ask the audience here in the room if anybody has a question. Okay. I have many questions. Vineke, do we have questions in the chat? Not yet. Then I will ask you the most, so while I was looking your presentation, Mina, now, I see that you are like doing for us the work we should do now with our deliverable 2 of the projects, because we have to show that we know which are the best practices in Europe, which are the most successful projects. So your presentation is extremely useful for us to make the baseline about where Europe is now, where the world is now. But if you have to give us an advice, we are a network of 38 countries. I count 117 people in this network. What is your advice? What should we do to do something more than what has been done until now?
Interesting question. Of course, I think that once you have already started doing the most important thing, which is having the overall commitment to make a change. We all know that we're in a time that we should all be actors of change, regardless of the level. Those that are responsible for introducing the change, of course, are member states and the research and innovation organizations. One thing is to know is that one should be patient, ambitious, and restless. And fighting for gender equality and achieving gender equality is being able to communicate, coming with good ideas, engaging with the top management, and making sure that actually everyone is on board. Because as you are saying, having targeted actions are very good. But if they do not fit into an overall strategy and commitment from the top management and from all actors involved, this would not make the change. This would not make a change sustainable. So I think that what is very important is to make the connection between all your different deliverables and work packages and work together and be sure that each of you learn from each other and adapt whatever the best practices at institutional level to their own working environment. As I said, there is no one size fits all. The most important thing is to be aware, to have the network, and to reach the top management to make sure that actually there is the commitment and also the resources to make a change. So I think that you're already doing a lot, and it's fantastic. Very often when we work with different universities and organizations, we ask them to actually be an actor of change in their own research and innovation environment. And so liaise with the different research and innovation actors, with research funders, with ministries, and everyone acting as an ambassador for change. And this is how I think that we should achieve significant progress. And again, just to emphasize that we do, and you can see it also at the level of the Commission, we do have targeted actions. Like we came this year with a very innovative new action which the Commissioner Gabriel promoted, as she's also very much committed to gender equality in all areas of her portfolio. It's the Women Tech EU initiative, where we actually provide funding support to women-led tech startups. So this is new. This, of course, is a measure to address the huge gender gap into this area. But we do not consider this as sufficient. We try to have this into an overall strategy where actually we do aim at an institutional change, building on all the different blocks that I have presented, and I hope we can discuss, or you will discuss during the different sessions, combined with targeted and limited in time action.
Thank you very much, Mina. There is a question in the chat. If you can read it, Vineke, it would be very, very good.
Yes, it's a question from Lucia Happa, and she asks, Mina, you said that only 10% of patents are from women. Have you also information about the art of the patents? Are these patents technical, or are these the accepted patents?
Well, these are accepted patents. but I do not have more information on this. I mean, this is coming, is a snapshot from our She Figures edition. What I can do eventually is to come back. I mean, this comes from the official PATSTAT office, so we can check again for more detailed information and sending it here. I do not have more granularity on this data.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions in the audience? Yes. Wait. The microphone will come.
Thank you. I just would like to ask about the presentation. Will that presentation available for us?
Yes, very good questions. All the presentations will be uploaded on the website of the program.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Yes, indeed, if I can say just for our presentation, at the end of my slides, I have made 2 different slides with useful information where you have a link to our webpage. And for those that are interested to know about the mutual learning workshops that we have or trainings at national level, please go and have a look. For instance, we are now organizing a training for 3 countries until the end of the year. One is in Greece in 2 weeks, and then we have in Hungary and in Croatia on the capacity building for gender equality plans. And as of January to July next year, we will also have trainings in Italy and I think in 6 more countries. Most of them are actually from Central and Eastern European countries, and we do have also in Italy a training, I think, in June. So you can have much more information in terms of timeline and concrete activities on our webpage. Go and have a look. I strongly encourage you.
So there is another question in the chat from Lucia, but first I want to use this occasion, Mina, to do a reflection together with you, together with all the people, because after 1 year we have been working 1 year in this action, and what I start to understand now in my head, that the 117 people, we are not the leaf of the organization, but we are like the ambassadors in our countries. So what is very important, that when I go back to Norway and Zeynep go back to Turkey, it's there that we start to work. We start to connect, we start to find out what is going on in our countries, and we start to influence what is going on in our countries, because between us, we know what the best practices are and what the successful projects are. And now it's a matter of bringing this knowledge down to our universities and to our countries and policymakers in our own countries, as I understand now. Yes, so shall we, do you want to comment, Mina, or is...
I think this is great. I can only congratulate you for this. Indeed, I am very happy, because this is how the way it should be done. So starting by creating a network, and then each of you starting by acting as their own network and engaging further and acting as an ambassador. So this is great. I'm looking at the question in the chat, actually, from Lucia, and I will be more than happy that you share with us what do you think that are the main reasons for preventing women entrepreneurs, more women entrepreneurs. What we do, of course, is that we are trying to address those gaps. Of course, we are looking into the venture capital funding, we are looking into some specific disciplines, we are looking into innovation and broadly within the European Innovation Council, and we do see that there is a huge gap. We don't know what the gap is. That's why we proceed with different targeted measures, trying to address the different gaps that we consider that might be there. These are soft measures, these are hard measures. These are measures linked to mentoring, providing different training, advice, coaching, etc. And we do have a new program within Horizon Europe, the EAC, which is the Women Leadership Program, and it's also on our website. So I was just looking for the exact name of the program actually to give it to you, but I can send it also in the chat. So it's a program that actually aims exactly at providing some specific soft skills training to women on developing more entrepreneurial skills and in spirit, etc. But is this enough? I'm not convinced at all. This is why you also have some targeted measures to support women-led companies. But what do we do before, actually? How do we address that? So our commissioner has been working for many years by supporting role models, giving visibility to those women, providing them the floor to actually give more inspirational speech. I mean, the Commission has been working on attracting more women into STEM fields through different policy instruments, such as the digital education plan, starting from education such as the European education area, the skills agenda, etc. So there are many instruments trying to address this huge gap in entrepreneurship. But we are also looking into collecting your feedback on what are the most appropriate measures. And by the time we speak, actually, Commissioner Gabriel is participating in the STEM forum, which actually gathers 14 to 18 years old boys and girls discussing exactly the type of stereotype and measures preventing more women to develop a more innovation-oriented approach and culture. And actually what I didn't present in my last slide was that indeed under Horizon 2020, we have funded 2 projects to develop more inclusive, innovation-oriented education at the very early stage, so working with formal and informal establishment to prepare what we call the future women innovators. And indeed, we do have a prize in the Commission awarding women innovators. We have a prize for raising young innovators, and then typical women innovators with experience for age 35 years and beyond. So we do have many measures to address those. Again, we try to have a more comprehensive strategy. If out of this discussion you have some innovative ideas or some ideas that you want to share, I personally would be very interested, because we are actually collecting feedback to develop some sort of a more comprehensive support to women entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, Mina. Does anybody have a final remark? We have just 2 minutes before the next session. Bara, do you want to share anything?
Just, thanks a lot to Nina for the talk. I just wanted to say that I think it's very important to share these best practices across Europe. So also, like, if you are running some studies, for example, on understanding certain aspects, to let us know and involve us. I think we would be very happy to get on board. I know that there are certain things like run across education institutions, for example, etc. So just it would be great to be in touch on that. So if there is a plan to run such studies, we'll be happy to get in touch.
So let us give an applause to Mina, who chose to give us time in a busy daily life. Thank you very much, Mina.
Thank you.